Innovation is the unrelenting drive to break the status quo and develop a new where few have dared to go. Knowledge drives innovation, innovation drives productivity, productivity drives economic growth. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to showcase the same. Welcome to the Intel Startup Showcase. I'm RJ Pallavi and I shall be your virtual host today. Now, the generation of 2020 has seen some incredible changes in technology. We are literally the generation who has seen the technological revolution. From a basic landline to the extraordinary smartphones, from a desktop to tablets. We are the generation who has seen events in its full glory to today meeting and greeting each other on virtual platforms just like this. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for giving me your screen time. Thank you for being part of the very first Intel Startup Showcase. Now, over the course of the evening, we will have 8 deep tech startups across verticals such as manufacturing, healthcare, warehousing, retail, enterprise, among others. They're here to showcase their products and solutions. We also have a very interesting fireside chat, and most importantly, at the end of the show, all of us will have a chance to network with the founders of the 8 startups on our platform, as well as our Intel Startup Program team. So, without any further ado, let's start this program with an inspirational talk from the person who has been the backbone of all innovations at Intel India. Please join me in welcoming Nivruti Rai, our country head of Intel India and Vice President Intel Foundry Services at Intel Corporation. Based in Bengaluru, she provides overall engineering and business unit leadership and leads operations for the site, driving innovation, cross-group efficiencies and execution for engineering teams delivering global products and roadmap. A strong evangelist of innovation and India for India and India for Global, she also leads engagements with national and local governments and policymakers, as well as collaboration with ecosystem players to enable innovation and entrepreneurship. Welcome, Nivruti. Over to you.
Welcome to the Intel Startup Showcasing Day today. I'm very excited to talk about the role that entrepreneurs have played and will be playing for the growth of the world. Often we say innovation and entrepreneurship is what drives growth in a company or a country, and I'm very excited that we are coming together to drive that growth. Today, I can tell you that just this last year, we had 40 unicorns. So I'm beginning to start introducing India as a unicorn startup hub rather than just a startup nation. And I'm excited to say that is because together China and Israel last year made almost the same number of unicorns like India. India was second just to US. And if I start adding the Sunicorns, which are about 100, we are very close to what United States is developing in terms of their unicorn startups. AI has been a technology which is playing a critical role horizontally across very many verticals, whether it is health or whether it is security or banking. In 2018, India had about 8% of the AI talent of the world. Just 3 years, and 2 out of which were COVID-stricken years. I'm happy to say that India now has 12% of AI talent and continuing to grow. And each one of us, including Intel, is playing its part in driving this skilling. Just a few months ago, I believe around August 19, we had called out a plugin alliance. An alliance which comes together to drive more innovation, to focus on the solutions of the need, to look at how can VCs, support our entrepreneurs better, to create solutions where we have a marketplace within this alliance. So 50 plus alliance members came together with us, all trying to work towards creating value in R&D, in innovation, in entrepreneurship, as well as economics. We have deep tech startups today and about 40 of them. The cumulative valuation is almost $1 billion already. Of the 40 deep tech startups, we're going to showcase 8 of them today. And like I said, the technologies that they are leveraging are, genome sequencing. Genome sequencing can enable studying of this virus mutation that all of us have been suffering. So we can look at this RNA and see how many mutations this RNA has gone through, and then come up with solutions that are more applicable to this mutation. Health kind of support which is more personalized. The other one that I'm going to talk about is quantum cryptography. Now, this unique startup is already working with an apex bank, trying to look at how do we enable security of our digital transactions. And many such startups, in the area of logistics, in the area of robotic automation, in the area of, we call Industry 4.0, how can we make automation drive manufacturing? So many such startups are part of this deep tech, cohort of entrepreneurs. I'll tell you, the value comes from collaboration. The value comes from putting together a solution that enables a problem that we are trying to solve, not just for India, but for the world. You have a chance to interact with these amazing deep tech startups and look at how can we partner better. Perhaps, leverage their technologies or contribute with them to create more value. Looking at a snowballing effect of creating more value in terms of R&D, innovation, economics, whatever is the value that you can help create. So welcome all of you and looking for an amazing day today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nivriti, for those inspiring words and extending a warm welcome to all of our audience. Isn't it amazing that India now contributes to 12% of the top AI researchers in the world, up from 8% in just last 3 years? We certainly believe that India has a massive talent pool that needs to be nurtured to drive the growth in the startup industry. Now at Intel Startup Program, we're doing just this as we collaborate with leading corporates and academia to nurture innovations. Now to tell us more about the Intel Startup Program, I now invite Neil Bhatia, our Director for Startup Ecosystem and Strategic Industry Collaborations, Intel India. Over to you, Neil.
Thank you, Pallavi. Welcome to the Intel Startup Showcase 2021. It's a pleasure to be here today. Firstly, I would like to thank the audiences for taking their time out this afternoon to hear our startups that we are showcasing today. Right? I hope you have a great time listening to some of the innovative use cases that our startups present. Next, I would really like to thank the startups for taking the time and effort to prepare their pitches. Startups truly fuel the innovation of the industry, right? And you guys really are the folks who lay the bedrock of innovation for the country. So thank you folks for spending the time and effort to come in here and speak to the audiences. At Intel, we truly believe in collaborative innovation. In the new world and the new age of technologies and solutions, innovations need to be collaborated across boundaries, across geographies, across organizations, and across technologies. No one entity can have a full solution, and we need to get together to foster innovative solutions coming out, innovative experiences coming out. We at Intel look for deep tech startups, right? From a variety of use cases, whether it is to do with health tech, whether it is to do with space technologies, whether it is to do with edu technologies, whether it is to do with automotive, or for that matter, it's Industry 4.0, right? Digital biology is the new one that's catching up, right? Biotechnology, right? There are so many of them which are really budding. It's like, there's a whole bouquet of new generation use cases that are coming up, right? The new world, the pandemic has really taught us some of these domains can work through the digital medium, can work through a lot of collaborative means, right? And that's exactly what we want to champion and propagate. These are truly exciting times. We believe the next phase of the startup ecosystem journey is going to be around deep tech startups. At Intel, we also believe in learning from the startups, right? And hence we look for interesting innovations and IPs that can make Intel technologies even better, right? How these IPs can integrate with the Intel technologies to come up with even more disruptive experiences for the enterprise and for the consumer. Lastly, we look for solutions that impact lives, solutions that scale to solve population scale challenges. We again at Intel don't believe in mentoring startups. We believe in collaborating with them and enabling them to create magic together. Let's join hands and encourage these startups and the overall startup ecosystem to innovate and create value. We look forward to these collaborations and hope you have a wonderful next 2 hours. Wishing you a great balance of 2021 and more of innovation in 2022. Right. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil, for sharing an overview of the Intel Startup Program and throwing light upon how Intel views the startup ecosystem as it works towards creating magic and value through collaborative innovation. Now, if you want to collaborate with Intel or know more about the program, you can visit the Intel Startup Program booth in the exhibition area and you can interact with the team. Now, also to lighten things up today, we have some trivia questions where we will ask you questions around the program and, of course, around our startups. Now, inside a tip, you can visit the Intel Startup Program website for the trivia answers. But for now, I need you to use the chat box below to send us your answers. And most importantly, I'm looking forward to some great participation. Now, since we've just heard about the Intel Startup Program, my very first question is just around it. Now, which initiative is part of the Intel Startup Program? Which initiative is part of the Intel Startup Program? Is it A, Intel Direct Program for Startups, B, Plug-in Alliance, C, Emerging Technologies in Governance Program, or D, all of the above? I'm going to repeat it again for you. Which initiative is part of the Intel Startup Program? Is it A, Intel Direct Program for Startups? Is it B, Plug-in Alliance? Is it C, Emerging Technologies in Governance Program? Or is it D, all of the above? All I need you to do is choose the correct option and send in through chat. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for us to dive into an engaging and an interesting fireside chat, which will throw light on the Indian and US startup ecosystem, challenges and opportunities, and how deep tech entrepreneurs in India can scale to global markets. Now, to introduce our esteemed guest for this evening, I would like to hand over the stage to Ramarko Sen-Gupta, our senior editor from Your Story. Over to you, Ramarko.
Thank you, Pallavi. It's an absolute pleasure today to have with us ex-Tesla CIO and the founder CEO of US-based unicorn Tekion Corp, Jay Vijayan. It's always a pleasure chatting with Jay. He's one of the finest and most humble human beings you'll ever come across. And he's, of course, making India so very proud on the world stage. Jay, thanks so much for making the time.
You're most welcome, Marco. Great to see you as always. Really enjoyed our last conversation. Really appreciate the kind words and the introduction.
Likewise, Jay. So before I start with the questions, a little bit about Jay's background, which of course some of you may be familiar with. He is a Chennai boy who was born and brought up there, and his first brush with entrepreneurship, in fact, also happened in the city. He's worked for Oracle, VMware, but is perhaps best known for his stint at Tesla, where he worked closely and directly with Elon Musk. Now, of course, he's making waves with his own startup, Tekion. So without further ado, Jay, your startup is doing so phenomenally well, making all the right noises. Valuation has, of course, tripled to 3.5 billion in a year with the 250 million funding round in October. What's the secret sauce? And as Tekion grows, do you think the Tesla tag that keeps following you will slowly fade, or you think that's something that will follow you everywhere, no matter how big Tekion becomes?
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question, and I think I'm incredibly thrilled, and I'm really proud of what we have accomplished via Tekion and all the hard work and efforts my team at Tekion has put together to, bring the company to where it is today. We are still very early. I strongly believe our best days are ahead, a lot more in the coming months and coming years. It's great to have, valuation continuing to grow and triple. But one thing I continue to say that to my team, and I've been in the industry for a little bit over 20 years. I've seen the ups and downs of the industry. I was still working, of course, in corporate life when the .com bust happened, and then the real estate bust happened in later on after 8-9 years. So I've gone through ups and downs. So the key is it's very easy to get carried away with valuations and everything. But I tell my team, while it's great, it's a good thing, but at the same time, I would be more thrilled and more proud when we get to revenue numbers and ARR numbers and margins at $1 billion and tripling continue, and we will. That's where I feel it's important to keep that level head as we want to accomplish what we want to accomplish. Now, to your other question is, and I mentioned to you in the past as well, I'm incredibly proud about my past experience, and especially at Tesla, because I've learned from every one of my experience. And I mentioned again, it's a once in a lifetime experience working with Elon and learning so much as part of that journey and building what I was able to build and help Tesla in whatever small way me and my team could for the next level of scale. That said, I think it's all about everything. See, your past can only carry you so far. I think at the end of the day, you have to prove yourself again and again. And that is something you have to have inherently. And that's what we feel we have. It's all about what we do from even after I left Tesla. It's all what we did after and what we are going to do from now on will continue to carry us, and not just because of the past. So that's something very, very clear. I think we are disrupting an industry that hasn't been disrupted for over 50 years, and we will continue to do so and continue to grow. And I know it's not going to come easy, so we have to continue to keep working hard.
While we are on tech startups, Indian startups have, of course, done well globally on the SaaS front. Now, as far as deep tech is concerned, it's an up and coming thing here in India, right? So just want to ask you, do you think there is an opportunity for Indian startups in this space to shine globally as well?
Very much, very much. And there is a, great inspiration now. And some of the companies have, come out, gone IPO. It touched on, Freshworks is a great inspiration for Indian companies going IPO. I see really exciting companies. Companies are doing great, really good products that are coming out of India. And they need to continue to think globally. It's important for a global product to be truly global, supporting global customers, continue to do so. One of the things, just as a typical advice, is right now I think market is great. Investment valuations are all very, very strong. My just 2 cents, which I tell my team as well. Startups shouldn't get carried away. There is going to be any up will always come with a down, with maybe a bigger up again. So if you have to sustain through the down, you need to think through longer term. Don't get carried away. And because I've seen startups, when they got money, they really go spend it. Mm-hmm. Like young college kids, so you want to make sure that you don't. Yes, you need to spend for the right thing. That little bit of discipline pays off longer term. So I think that's an important piece. If we get through that, and I know many startups will come out very strong whenever that is. I'm not saying there is going to be a correction next month or next year, but there is always going to be one. But it's strong to keep the thing sustaining. It's important to keep that discipline. So it's a very strong ecosystem, very encouraging to see. And I see that many companies will come out of it, a lot more companies that will go IPO and grow much bigger from the India startup ecosystem.
Yeah, and you, of course, mentioned Freshworks, which is almost a fabled tale now. But let's say that, what would your advice be to Indian startups who are looking to scale and grow in the US market?
Yeah. See, the great thing, like a US market and many of the global markets, especially in the US market, is it's all about the product and the quality. If you deliver a great product and a great quality, then adoption will be very strong. It doesn't matter where the product comes from, right? So the important part for advice for Indian startups is when you want to think globally, you should definitely need to have a local team in the US because you need to understand the businesses here, right? It doesn't matter what size, but it's the right size to understand the local business. And make sure that the product always, you think about the framework itself. Now the technology is so advanced, it's much easier to develop. Unlike long ago, as you could imagine, the big software companies have to develop different versions. Sometimes they acquire, even when they want to enter a new market, usually through acquisition. I saw this happening, and it's happening even recently. Even in the automotive industry, some of our competitors never were truly as a global platform. They were only acquiring companies at different parts of the world. So when you think about it, it's develop the platform as having all of the localization capabilities, internationalization capabilities. And then the final piece, as I said, is the understanding the local business, their needs, and how are you going to deliver value to them. I think those are the fundamental three things to become a global business. And then you can truly continue to grow from there and deliver value, become a global business. Yeah. The last advice is don't rush to become global too soon. And I've seen many companies make that mistakes because it's very expensive. When you go to a new market, it takes a long time for you to get the payback. You're going to invest. So say, for example, if a company grows in India for 5 years and you've done really well, when you enter a new market, it takes anywhere between at least 2 years for your payback to come. Very rarely, I mean, I'm talking about the B2B business especially. The consumer business might be slightly different. When you talk about B2B software, if you're delivering applications, SaaS applications, anything, it takes 2 years of investment, and you need to make sure that you have enough cushion to keep that. So that's pretty much what I have seen in my experience taking a product from local, which is probably India or US, to truly global.
Yeah, no, that's great advice, Jay. Also, if you were to look at things from a Western perspective, Truecaller, which is Swedish, the largest market is India, right? I mean, It's built in Sweden, but for India. So, I mean, It's obviously possible.
Many, even US companies, there are many companies, they are not leaders in US, but they are leaders in other parts of the world. Right. So you need to make sure that you understand the local business. And if you feel there is a, good consumer adoption, if consumers are grabbing your product, then it's okay to go invest more and then continue to put your energy there to expand.
Right. And the US startup ecosystem versus the one in India, Jay, how do you sort of view the two? So
I think it's US is a matured startup ecosystem, and India is getting there very, very quickly. So the way that's why so India startup ecosystem is somewhere like early how US, that's where US really was exploding in growth. I feel similar to how things were in 99, 2000 when US startup ecosystem really exploded, right? So it was great. Of course, it went through a correction. .com had a bust. Yeah. There was a kind of a dip period. And then, of course, things come back much stronger. And we all know, now it's feeding many of the startup ecosystems all over the world. So that's why I kind of... it's a caution rather than just keep that in mind. And I mentioned this to you earlier, right? I tell this to my team, tell this to my kids. You have to learn from other people's mistake, and your lifetime will not be enough to learn from your own mistakes. So we've seen what US market went through in .com. So not repeat, you're going to go through your own mistakes, but don't repeat the same one. So I want to make sure that, startups, companies think through that for longer term. That's what my advice will be. So just keep that in mind, build a sustainable business. I think India ecosystem is growing really fast. It's maturing, and it's going to take one cycle for it to get to where US is today. Right. At least one cycle.
Right. Interesting. Jay, before I let you go, I've got a couple of very quick questions.
Sure.
The first one is, key lessons you learned from Elon Musk and at Tesla?
Yeah. Key lessons. Number one, I would say, is having crystal clear view on your vision and goals, right? Crystal clear what I want to deliver. So make sure that is number one, I would say. Make it clear, continue to crystallize it more and more. It may start as a big thing, but make sure it is very clear on how you want to execute, right? So the bigger picture vision and then the immediate goals to bring that vision to reality. Second is kind of that unwavering grit. Just say whatever it takes, I'm going to get to those goals, right? In the shorter term, smaller things, yes, you'll have some failures. So the third thing very related to it is fail fast. I know it's a very cliche thing. People have said this over and over again, but I've seen this live through at Tesla as well. Like, if you want to fail fast in the micro so that you can win the macro. So learn from it quickly. And we've gone through that cycle at Tekion also. Yeah. We've had our moments of, things that we developed in the micro. Many times we've developed products and we had to throw away, right? That all happens. So as long as your it's aligned towards your macro view, then it's fine. I would say fundamentally, those are the three things. Constantly fail fast and constantly innovate is the third thing. So that's pretty much it. So very crystal clear view on your goals to bring your vision to life. Really the grit to hold on to do anything and everything to bring that goals to life. And then the final one is to ensure that you really have fail fast, innovate, at the micro level so that the macro you can go and make it really successful.
Right. Your advice to budding entrepreneurs, something you wish you knew when you were starting out.
Yeah, a lot of great learnings. So I think that the key is being genuine, making sure that I would say fundamentally it goes to it may feel like advice to school kids, that discipline and integrity I feel is most important. So you need to build an ecosystem. You have to be genuine to yourself, your employees and everyone. You have to be truly passionate about your goals. So that way your employees and anyone who, it should be contagious, where others who see should take that passion from you and make it their own. If each of your employees do that, you increase the power of what you're going to do and deliver. And then make sure that you keep people, including your investors, only people who are aligned to your goals, at least to, I would say, 75%. The reason I'm not saying 100% is it's okay to have that 25% difference. So that, but you don't want someone 75% in an opposite, pulling in an opposite direction while you want to move in a different direction. So including investor, that's the toughest part, because not all entrepreneurs have the luxury to choose who you want to take money from, because many times you don't have money. Sometimes discipline pays off. There are cases where I've pitched in early days when we had tough time in, raising money at the right time, where I had to just say, I'm not going to meet this investor again. It just doesn't make sense. Even though we are desperate, it doesn't make sense because their goals are completely in a different direction than what I want the company to be. That's it. So I think those are the things I would say. My advice is be genuine, be genuinely passionate about what you're doing. Make sure that it's contagious to everyone around you. And then be disciplined about choosing your team members, even choosing your investors. I know not all the time you get the luxury, but at the discipline pace.
Yeah. And you're, of course, someone who was doing so well at big tech corporations with stock options and the works. How did you, Jay, muster up the courage to give it all up, the security, the money, to dive into the entrepreneurship gambit?
Good question. I think that's something many people ask. It's, I would say it was getting out of fundamental, I would say, is yes, it's easy to get caught. And now, good news is, I mean, I see a lot of people, corporate executives coming out, trying it out. You want to get out of your comfort zone. I'm not saying just for the sake of, saying truly, I believe it's get out of your comfort zone. When you're too comfortable into something, I would say something goes on as a trigger, and you should go on in your mind. Am I too comfortable? Am I growing in every way in my mind? If I'm not comfortable, then it's time to go do something else. And people stick to comfort, but rarely to people it may be okay. But to most part, I would say it's not okay, because as humans, we continue to grow only when we break barriers. So we need to get out of that comfort zone. So for me, I think it has paid off. I would say many people ask me again, do you have any regrets? Either leaving Tesla or leaving VMware, and especially with Tesla, all the success. And I honestly feel zero. I enjoy every moment of what I'm doing. There is ups and downs, like every business. It would have been the same thing I am, but I think fundamentally that's pretty much it. When you see the smaller things that you bring that brings value out, that gratification is good enough for many things, and then it continues to pay. Every time I had to leave something behind to get to the next, and it takes time for the next one to get to that level, even monetarily. It's been good, and I would probably do that again at some point in the future.
Yeah. In fact, this reminds me of that very famous Steve Jobs quote. People who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. So,
all different levels, right? Different levels of craziness. That's all. I wouldn't say I'm as crazy as Steve Jobs, but we have our level of small level of craziness to do.
Yeah. Lastly, Jay, the best and the worst things about being an entrepreneur.
All right, good question. So the best is you seeing the fruits of your hard work in different levels. When your customers send really nice emails, when your employees are really happy and proud about being associated with your brand, and small things. And the good news is you get that on an ongoing basis. So that's the best thing being an entrepreneur, right? You feel, of course, you create jobs, you deliver a product that brings value. So that's the best thing. The worst thing being an entrepreneur, in my view, is it's balancing your time. Who do you give your time to? Of course, your family. My family is super important. I have 2 kids, my wife, my relatives and friends. But as an entrepreneur, you have to give equal importance to your company and employees because it's an ecosystem. You've created an ecosystem. As it grows, you need to feel responsible. Again, it's a good thing. Your weight increases on your shoulder, and true entrepreneurs who feel the accountability truly feel the weight. But at the same time, you cannot be weighed down. You have to feel accountability in a good way. But that's kind of the worst part, is balancing that is an ongoing effort to say you cannot compromise. So for example, if you're running a company of like 100 people, the 100 people are dependent on you as an entrepreneur. If you're making decisions, your decisions can impact positively or negatively. If it's 100, if it's 1,000 or 10,000, doesn't matter. Especially when you're an entrepreneur, it's your product, your company, your baby. So your decisions are such important one. And then how do you take away, because on the other side, your family is dependent on you to most part, right? So how do you balance that time on an ongoing basis is, I would say, the worst part or the toughest part that every entrepreneur, it's an ongoing thing you need to learn.
Yeah, I hope you're able to sort of do the balancing act, Jay. It's always lovely catching up with you. Thank you for the wonderful insights today. I wish you and Tekion all the very best.
Most welcome.
Scale greater heights in the days to come. Stay safe.
It was my pleasure. Thank you, Marco. It was my pleasure. Really enjoyed the conversation. Great questions as always. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Jay.
session, Ramarco, and thank you, Jeff, for throwing light on your entrepreneurship journey so far and putting out a message to all the founders, I have to say, in the audience on how they can actually build scalable solutions and create world impact. Okay, on that note, it's our time for me to give the answer for our trivia question. Of course, I also gave a nice clue for all of you when I asked in the questions, and we had so many people giving me the correct answer. The correct answer is, of course, option D, which is all of the above. And the first person who gave me the answer is Kuldeep Tripathi. So, Mr. Kuldeep Tripathi, yay! Thank you so much for being the first person. And of course, we have a lot more trivia questions coming your way. But for that, we need to move on with our show. Like I was telling you, today we are going to be showcasing 8 startups who will share with us their journey through the program, their stories on how they've reached here, and of course, how they are impacting the world one day at a time. I have to say that this will be a journey we won't forget. So let's kick off our main event, which all of you have been waiting for. Now, let me ask you a question. Okay, do you remember when home deliveries first started out? They were delivering pizza for about 30 minutes or less. Now we actually have our groceries that's being delivered to us in less than 15 minutes. How do you think this is reaching to each one of you so efficiently? Now, the whole delivery model sits on a backbone of a robust supply chain that's being supported through automation and robotics. Now, our very first startup have the same, and they are automating just this. I now invite our mentor Hemant P. Sethuram, system software architect at Intel India, who has an experience of over 25 years leading R&D activities in the space of robotics, to say a few words about our first startup. Over to you.
I'm excited today to talk about this wonderful company, Addverb. Addverb is taking its made in India robots to the world by expanding into markets in Asia, Europe, Singapore, and Australian regions. Using state-of-the-art technologies in robotics, controls, artificial intelligence, Addverb has built a broad portfolio of robotic products, helping in warehouse control and warehouse management systems. I would like to introduce Mr. Sangeet Kumar, an IIT graduate with more than 20 years of experience and founder of Addverb, to talk in more detail about Addverb's offerings.
We are Addverb, and we are into warehouse automation, mobile robotics, and we started 5 years back in 2016. We started small with 5 people, and today we are a multidisciplinary team of 550 engineers. We are present, apart from India, as you have rightly said, in Australia, in Singapore, in Netherlands, in US. We have 100% subsidiary in these countries. These are our some of the biggest customers, and 10 or 15 of them contribute to 50% of our revenue. We are into e-commerce, grocery, fashion and lifestyle, FMCG in a big way, petrochemical and paint. These are the sector we are very, very active. We have 100 plus customers today in India and across the world. 80% of our revenue come from India, and 20% of our revenue comes from outside India, which is going to change. Our story till date, we will be doing around 55 million US dollar this year. As I said, we are a team of 550 engineers. And the next 3 years are really on an aggressive path where we will be exporting our products across the world. We are targeting a revenue of 450 plus in the next 3 years. And we have one factory today, and there is another big factory which is coming up in northern part of the country. We have a team of 150 R&D experts, and they are from various disciplines. What do we do, or what is it that we offer to our customers? We give the brain behind warehouse automation, which is the warehouse management system, the warehouse control system, and fleet management system. We build autonomous mobile robot. These are some of our installations where we have deployed these robots at scale in the country for sortation application, for the goods to person technology, and for movement. Apart from this, we have unique offering in the sense that we give flexible automation, which is robotics, etc. And we also supply conventional automation, both controlled by our suite of software. So in conventional automation, we have quadrons, and these are the most popular equipment. We also have mother-child shuttle or multi-pro, which we use extensively for dense storage. Should I play the video?
Modern-day retail is powered by the click of a button, or rather, click of a finger. From books and fashion to bread and butter, consumers are now migrating to online shopping. While the large spread of SKUs and perishable nature of goods remain a key challenge, the million-dollar question is still to ensure timely delivery of grocery orders placed online at the lowest price, on time, every time. E-grocery has been struggling with timely delivery and last-mile challenges as cities are getting congested due to traffic, and the warehouses are situated outside the city. A novel idea, which can disrupt the entire business model of e-grocery, is micro-fulfillment center. Compact size of these MFCs allow them to be set up in any part of the city. They can be either standalone facilities or can be clubbed with any existing retail store, where customers can pick their orders at any time of the day. Warehouse software, such as a warehouse execution system, connect the network of these micro-fulfillment centers to one another to enable real-time order management. The AI-powered software ensures smooth flow of operations right from inwarding, slotting, inventory management, to order fulfillment and order sequencing as per delivery schedules. All the customers of any megacity can be delivered grocery with lightning speed, with only 5 to 10 MFCs spread across the city. So, gear up to deliver grocery faster than a pizza.
Yeah, this is our first factory, which we had put in record time. It is having one of the largest R&D center as far as mobile robotics is concerned. We are also building our articulated 6-axis articulated robot, and this is something which we are very excited about. And through Intel Startup Program, we got access to a lot of Intel technology. In developing our cobot, Elhart Lake is one of them, which we are using for our cobot, so that cobot can do several actions at the same time and without any lag and with full control. The other thing where Intel Startup Program has helped us is in getting some of the Intel products, or some of the products which Intel partner is producing, to be used in our products, like Tekion or Intel RealSense, which we use extensively. We are also, for our vision problem, which is what in warehouse we tackle a lot, we are using the OpenVino platform to optimize our model and algorithm. So these are something which has helped us extremely well, and it would help us in a big way in scaling our offering to the customers across the world. And before I end my presentation, I would like you to hear from one of our customers whom we have given our product.
I've been with Marico for the last 14 years now, and I've had multiple stints across procurement, manufacturing, and then now heading the factories. The reason why we chose ASRS, earlier factories we've had issues with storage space, the amount of material that we could carry, amount of material we could store, and then even every now and then we had to stop the factory because we didn't have space either to unload or to load the next batch. Also, how can we increase the accuracy? So we wanted to make it automated, where people don't have to apply so much of mind. It becomes an automated, easy process, and the process governs the entire plant. That was the design consideration. So our association with Addverb goes a long way. In fact, we have known Sangeet and Pratik. We had requirement of three things. One was the efficiency of design and the throughput that we want. Second, flexibility. FMCG, that too in PPC, you have a lot of changes that happen across the years. So when that happens, your system has to be flexible, and that flexibility is something that we wanted, and Addverb has given us that flexibility. Third was this being the first time, the cost of it was going to be a very, very big criteria, and that is something with which was the brief to Addverb. We worked out very well, and the design turned out to be extremely good, which has actually given us the kind of flexibility that we've always wanted.
Finally, if you have any questions which is there about us, about our product offering, about anything related to Addverb, we are available on virtual booth. Please do visit us to enter the world of robotics and
Addverb for showcasing the true potential of automated system. It's great to see you trailblaze into the future of automation and robotics. I know all of you are waiting for our next startup, but just before that, time for another trivia question. Now, which of these statements are true? Which of these statements are correct? Is it A, 10 startups from the program are presenting today? Is it B, Intel Startup Program acceptance rate is 6%? Is it C, 20% of the top AI researchers are from India? Or is it D, you can schedule 1:1, one-on-one meetings with the startups on 17th of December? You got that right? Which of these statements are correct? There can be one right option, or there can be two right options, or maybe three, or maybe four. Whatever it is, whatever you think is right, I want you to put your options in our chat box, send in your message, and of course, please do also give us your names so that I could announce all the correct answer people in just a little while. On that note, let's move on to our next startup. Now, customers today have more options and more ways to shop than ever. That everybody knows. Now, this generally might get tedious sometimes, but what if you had a virtual shopping avatar that not only just knew all your needs, but also helped you choose the right product? Now, also, what if this avatar made your shopping experience more engaging and more fun? What if this avatar took over your persona? Now, our next startup with its virtual avatar solution is here to help. I would now invite our mentor, Devakumar Rajagopalan, who is our manager of banking vertical Intel India. Now, he has over 10 years of experience driving new solutions and services in the BFSI space, and he is here to introduce our next startup. Over to you.
Thank you, Pallavi. DaveAI has been part of Intel Startup Program. DaveAI was founded by three diverse founders, Dr. Anant, a PhD in speech technology. Sriram has a sales and consulting background. Ashok, an entrepreneur. DaveAI is a virtual AI platform. They build next generation artificial intelligence solutions to help business drive incremental revenues. DaveAI, through their current virtual sales avatar, mimics a human sales brain and helps the enterprise in retail and banking create a seamless customer product journey experience. This experience can be created in both the physical space at the edge and virtual space at cloud across the digital channel. Intel is being closely working with DaveAI for a micro branch solutions to the banking and financial industry. And I would like to welcome Sriram, co-founder of DaveAI.
Thank you, Deva, for the kind introduction. Hi, everybody. I'm Sriram, one of the co-founders of DaveAI. DaveAI is a visual AI sales augmentation platform. We help enterprises create sales experiences with the power of visualization and AI coming together. So sales or product discovery has predominantly been an offline phenomenon until late. But now customers discover products whenever and wherever they want to. And when they do that, they necessarily are not interacting with a human salesperson or a human product specialist from the brand. In fact, are discovering the products themselves. So with Dave, our vision is to make this self-discovery process as impactful as it was when you actually interact with a physical salesperson or a physical product specialist and also get to see and experience the product in real life. We predominantly work with lifestyle retail, automobile, and retail banking, and this opens up a $90 billion opportunity in terms of market size that we're going after. So what is a Dave-enabled sales experience? A Dave-enabled sales experience has a few facets to it. At the core of it is this virtual avatar. This virtual AI avatar is a conversationally intelligent, speech-enabled, visual digital human that customers can interact with, both in speech, text, and through prompts. Not only that, this whole experience of where the virtual avatar is inside a virtual space, which means, let's take an example of an automobile showroom that you're seeing in the screen now, where while Dave understands customer requirements or preferences and makes product recommendations, Dave can actually help customers visualize the product in 3D. And this whole experience can either be on the web or on a VR device or at the edge on a physical kiosk. And that is a phenomenon that we've been noticing over in the recent past that's increasing adoption, which is in the form of micro branches, where customers are rolling out, and enterprises are rolling out pop-up stores or micro branches, which are smaller form factors of their physical spaces, but provide the entire experience with the power of this Dave-enabled experience. At the core of DaveAI, though, is our affinity engine that helps Dave understand customer requirements and make product recommendations. So like I said, there are 4 key technology components that come together to create this experience, which is speech and NLP, computer vision, visualization, and an AI sales brain. And the core capability of Dave is to create this virtual avatar, and all our experiences have this virtual AI avatar at its core that then orchestrates the entire sales experience for customers. We take to market 3 defined product form factors. On the web, we can be a virtual assistant or a virtual store, but on the edge, which is more pertinent to today's discussion, which is the AI micro branch, where we bring all these 4 complex AI workloads into the edge and allow customers to experience what they experience in an entire physical space on a digital kiosk or on a limited experience such as VR. And we'll take a quick pause and go into a product demo video where you can see Dave in live in one of our actual live deployments with one of the leading private sector banks in India.
Hi there, how may I help you today? I am glad that you are interested in the KBL Express car loan. Do you have an existing relationship with Karnataka Bank? Sure, KBL has one of the best schemes available for car loans. What feature would you like to know about? Got it. Minimum net monthly income is Rs 15,000.
Car loan age limit.
The minimum age limit to apply for KBL Express car loan is 18 years and maximum is 70 years of age. I see. Salaried, self-employed agriculturists are eligible to apply for the loan. Loan can also be availed in the name of proprietorship, partnership, limited liability partnership firm, cooperative societies, companies incorporated under Companies Act. If you wish to open an account, please scan the QR code below.
So what you saw there was an interactive experience where a customer is able to interact with Dave to fulfill all her personal banking needs. So you can, instead of walking into a physical branch, you now walk into this AI micro branch and you're able to talk to Dave, who is the virtual concierge for the branch, and also discover products. So if you want to know about loans or credit cards, you can do that. You can apply for a banking product, or you can in fact get connected to a live banker in a real bank and complete your concerns that the AI bot is unable to do. How are we able to create this experience? Are three key differentiators in terms of how our technology is built. With very minimal data, we're able to start this experience for customers, which means it's an online learning genetic algorithm that powers the system, and hence no cold start issues for Dave as an AI engine. And as you scale with enterprise data, there is no massive data science investments that these enterprises have to incur to be able to scale this deployment from going from 1 to 100 micro branches. And of course, we bring all these 4 technologies together and blend them into one unified experience, which is one of our core parameters. And in terms of customers, what they get back from us is an improvement in lead qualification rate, conversion rate, and net promoter score, which is the overall experience. To create this experience, of course, is where we have leveraged Intel. We started our engagement with Intel through the Intel Startup Program, but to deliver a seamless customer experience, low latency, high impactful experience at the edge is where the entire Intel ecosystem, from a hardware perspective, supports this software deployment of ours. We leverage technologies such as the Intel OpenVINO. We leverage AI accelerators from Intel and the entire vPro ecosystem to be able to deliver this high quality sales experience at the edge. I'll talk about the founding team a bit before we see what some of our customers have to say about us. I come from sales and marketing background, consulting background. We worked with enterprises such as Wipro and HCL, incubating new business units with them. Anant leads tech for us. He has a PhD in speech technology from KTH Stockholm. Was one of the key architects for Samsung Bixby. And Ashok has been a second generation entrepreneur. He launched the brand Safeguard in India. So we bring diverse experiences to the table in terms of a founding team. So with the help of ecosystem partners such as Intel, we've been part of the Intel Startup Program and NASSCOM, and R&D collaborations with leading academic institutes in India. We've been able to successfully scale the product and engage with more than 20 to 25 large enterprises in India, Southeast Asia, and North America today. We hope to continue engaging with the ecosystem, leveraging our industry partners, and setting the course for the next scale of growth for DaveAI. As a closing note, I'd like you to listen to one of our customers talking about our live deployments. Thank you.
Merino is a 46-year-old organization with a strong legacy, more than 4,500 employees, and a very strong brand when it comes to the laminate and surface solution. We realize that one of the great problems that people face is how to visualize the laminate over a particular surface or a piece of furniture. In this regards, we have come up with a new technology of visualization with our partner Sociograph, and over there we are trying to develop one of its kind visualizer which will help our users to visualize our products in a very, very effective way. We have received near about 30,000 visitors over the period of certain months. So DaveAI and Sociograph has been very, very supportive in our endeavor with the technology partners. We have done a due diligence of understanding the right tech partners for this vision of visualizer. It is a very, very strategic initiative for us, and I think it is one of the first in our category of this, and it has been a wonderful and a good journey to develop this visualizer along with our partner. I would definitely appreciate the team to closely work with us, understanding the sector, understanding the challenges. I definitely is very bullish and very hopeful about this becoming a very, very successful case study when it comes to the surface solutions category.
Thank you, Sriram and team DaveAI for showcasing how easy it is to create intelligent solutions to our problems. I'm very sure they are here to democratize AI. Moving on. Now, in the last couple of years, COVID has changed how we collaborate. Hybrid work is here to stay, and people will work from offices, homes, and co-working spaces. Today, we have a startup that is working towards imagining the conference rooms of the future. I would now like to invite our mentor, Saurabh Gupta, Director Engineering at Intel Corporation. Now, he has over 20 years of experience and he's also an alumni from IIT Delhi. He's here to say a few words about them. Over to you.
Thanks, Pallavi. When I come across any new startup, I always try to find out what problem are they addressing. Is it really at first place a real world problem? That's when actually over a cup of virtual coffee, I met Aditya and Amitabh, who actually brought me an idea of providing a video conferencing seamless experience, especially when we are using different type of platforms like Google Talk or Microsoft Meetings or Cisco, right? But the main key idea is from the same conference room. Essentially, they are actually democratizing the video conferencing room. And especially during the times where an hybrid era is there of the workspace, you provide the same experience of from any of the co-working experience from the conference rooms. So let me introduce you, Aditya and Amitabh, co-founders of LetsVing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Saurabh, for this opportunity and for the great introduction. Hi, I'm Aditya, founder of Wing Hybrid Technologies. We are revolutionizing video conferencing for complex hybrid work scenarios. Everything about work has changed in the recent past. Who your employees are, where are they working from, how are these distributed teams collaborating with each other? Everything has changed. It is now certain that the future of work is going to be hybrid. And in this hybrid scenarios, there is a greater need for effective collaboration. Laptop-based conferencing served its purpose very well during the work from home phase, but once people start coming back into offices in a hybrid scenario, there will always be a group of people sitting in a meeting room in an office wanting to collaborate with folks working from home and other offices. Now, this is where the complexity is multifold, and that is exactly where we step in. Companies understand this and they're already preparing themselves for the upcoming demand. They're not just upgrading their existing VC room infrastructure, but they're also adding additional video conferencing rooms to their whole inventory. And numbers are speaking for themselves. There are already 9 million video conferencing rooms in the world, and Frost & Sullivan predicts that this number is going to go sixfold in the next 5 years. However, it is not all that rosy for IT teams who are deploying these video conferencing rooms and for the users using them. They have to deal with the complexities of the video conferencing technology itself. For example, depending on how a particular camera is registered, it is largely confined for internal use. It can only make calls within its corporate network. In other scenarios, it is hardwired to work efficiently with just one meeting software, but it cannot seamlessly interoperate across all these platforms. The users have to learn how to use these VC cameras across various rooms because every camera is different. They have to learn how to navigate through the workflows of each of these meeting platforms. For IT teams themselves, it is a very complex thing for them to manage all these extra peripherals on the desk, primarily because all of these peripherals are additional fail points. Setting up VC rooms tends to become a lot more expensive affair because of this. This is where we come in. Any existing or new VC camera can be onboarded seamlessly onto our platform through a very simple activation workflow. Once a camera and the room are onboarded onto our platform, we provide a seamless cross-border, cross-network collaboration across any meeting platform anytime. From a user standpoint, all they do is walk into the room, scan a QR code, and the meeting starts. and magically there is an instance of the meeting starting on their phone or maybe on the laptop through which they can control the meeting. Organizations can now choose to procure USB-based cameras at 1/5 the cost as against the codec-based cameras and have the same level of control through a single pane of glass that they would have otherwise gotten from a codec camera. Ving is the one solution that checks all the boxes and makes your VC room deployments so much more seamless and so much more magical to use. With secure calendar integrations, employees of organizations can now seamlessly schedule and join from internal VC rooms, external VC rooms, and laptops, irrespective of wherever they are. Now that opens up a host of new use cases that organizations can use video conferencing for. Amitabh and I are ex-Cisco, and we bring our experience to solve the customer pain points in the collaboration space. Let's get into the solution now and see how it works. Our proprietary operating system works great on an Intel NUC, which you can directly procure from the market online, or you can ask your system integrator to procure it for you. Once these boxes are shipped to you, the system integrator will load the operating system onto the Intel NUCs and then makes 3 simple connections. 1, the HDMI from the TV screen, the USB from the camera, and 3, the Ethernet into your LAN network. Once the box is powered on, you will see this beautiful screen presented on the TV screen in the VC room. Now everything on the screen is completely customizable. The wallpaper can be customized at an organization level, at a building level, and also at a room level. You can have different wallpapers at every stage. You will have all the details of the room, what room you are in, what is the temperature, which building you are in, what is the location, and so on and so forth. However, what comes unique to this particular room are the room ID and the QR code, which is coming from our server. In order to join into meetings, users have a choice to either do so from an application on their phone or maybe from a browser on their laptop. Joining the meeting is extremely simple. The user walks into the video conferencing room, selects the meeting that they want to join, and simply scans the code, and the meeting starts. Hey Amitabh, how are you?
Hi Vidya, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. The best part about starting this meeting in such a seamless, simple way is once the meeting starts over there on the Ving box, on the Ving platform in the VC room, an instance of that particular meeting also starts on the mobile phone of the user. The user can use this application and the meeting on their mobile phone to control the device and the complete meeting itself. This completely eliminates the need for external tabs and remotes in the room, which will save IT teams a lot of IT tickets and pain. Let's see how this works. So the app comes with a mute button, a video on off, and a share screen button. Let's see if I have to mute the camera in the room. I just click on the mute button and you will see that the camera will mute itself, like so. Unmute is equally simple. I just tap on the same button and the camera unmutes itself. In order to leave the meeting, I click on leave meeting and the meeting ends. It's that seamless where every single user in the meeting room has the power and control over the meeting that is happening inside the video conferencing room itself. Let's hear from the system integrators who are deploying our solution at the customer location.
Yeah, hi, this is Ashwath here. I'm working as a general manager AV pre-sales at TRI Systems. And we are the global system integrator. Our customers mainly use software applications for their conferencing. We are seeing an increase in demand to set up PC rooms across our customer base, but most of these PC room solutions are difficult to use for the end users because it's biased to one application. WingMeet completely simplifies this experience. Users just walk into the VC rooms and scan the QR code and start their meetings. It's that simple. This will revolutionize how VC rooms are used. And WingMeet's centralized dashboard simplifies manageability for the IT teams and system integrator like us. Overall, it's a great solution. We are in process of bundling WingMeet into our VC room deployments. Thanks to Wing team and all the best.
Hi, my name is Kaushik and I work for Avid. We are an AV systems integrator based out of Bangalore, and we design solutions for unified communications, augmented reality, and IoT. We have been associated with Ving right from the time that the product was being developed, and have been testing WingMeet for a while now. We find it to be a fantastic solution that democratizes the video conference rooms and gives enterprises the flexibility to use any web conferencing platform across any room with practically any OEM VC camera. We are very excited to offer this as a solution to our customers and are inclined to take it to over 9,000 VC rooms that we service across in Asia Pacific.
Intel has been a great partner since the inception of our company. Starting from identifying the right hardware to suggesting the best drivers, Intel has helped us improve the customer experience for users using our platform. As a part of the Intel Startup Program, they are connecting us with partners and customers that will help us grow our business globally.
Who actually knew one platform can have so many benefits? Thank you, Aditya and team LetsVing, for making sure that we have a seamless experience even while being virtual. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to give an answer for the trivia question number 2. Which of these statements was correct? And we actually have option B, which is Intel Startup Program acceptance rate is 6%. And also, option D, you can schedule one-on-one meetings with the startups on 17th of December. The first person who gave both the options correct is Payal Bansal. Yay! Payal, congratulations for being the first person to actually give the correct answer. I do have a lot more trivia questions coming forward, but for now, it's time for us to meet our next startup. Now, I have another question. Have you ever walked into a departmental store and found that your favorite food item with a wrong label or there's no label at all? How about a damaged bottle of water or juice? I'm very sure you'll just end up picking up another brand's product instead. Now, the next startup is ensuring that the next time you do not find a defective product in the store aisles. And to tell us a little bit more about that, I would like to invite our mentor, Amit Chatterjee, Industrial IoT Segment Leader and Strategic Business Development, Intel India. He's a known name in the industrial ecosystem. He's also a hands-on IoT specialist with over 20 years of experience. He's also working on scaling industrial and vision solutions for emerging markets. He's here to talk to us about our next startup. So over to you.
Thank you so much for the introduction. It's my pleasure to introduce the Qualitas team, as they are one of the most innovative companies working on visual automation and visual processes, specifically in manufacturing. Their mission has been to enable manufacturing companies with their full potential of machine vision and artificial intelligence, thereby increasing their product's competitiveness. They offer end-to-end solutions like automated vision inspection, robotic guidance, optical character recognition, inventory tracking, various measurement-related solutions, 3D inspection, code reading, by far providing a comprehensive IIoT solutions in the market. Thank you, and over to Raghava.
Thank you, Amit. And I'm really excited to be presenting our startup Qualitas Technologies to you and the audience. Now, in a real short way, what does Qualitas do? And Qualitas is a company that automates visual processes in manufacturing. And we do that using computer vision and AI. So let's look at where the problem in manufacturing is and what kind of problem we're actually trying to address. There's some astounding facts that indicate that the total cost of quality management or the spend that companies invest in to manage their quality control programs in manufacturing is anywhere from 15 to 30% of total revenues. And that's a huge number. And a large part of that spend is actually goes into manual visual quality control. And it's known to be error prone. It's of course expensive, and it's highly inconsistent because humans aren't really designed to do repetitive tasks, especially when it comes to inspecting small defects or inspecting for conformities, etc. And what we've been trying to solve with our product called the Qualitas Eagle Eye is exactly the problem of how to replace a human in the loop, or even augment a human in the loop with technology. And our product is really a platform. It has three components. There's the image acquisition component. So in order to be able to actually take decisions, you have to first acquire the image. And the way we've solved that is to come up with a modular image acquisition setup, which comes with different kinds of cameras that you can couple with various optics and lighting. So depending on the kind of product that you're trying to visualize or the kind of product that you're trying to inspect, we can assemble a customized image acquisition system together so that we're able to take clear images of what needs to be inspected. So that's actually a key part of our product offering as well. So we're not just focused on the software, but we're also, it's an end-to-end solution which starts with image acquisition. And of course, once you've acquired the image, you need to, we use AI to do the inspection. And the inspection is done with the inferencing software that is on the edge, so the edge compute. And this is where, the Intel's architecture also comes in. So we work pretty closely with the Intel startup team through the Intel Startup Program to optimize all the specialized models that we've built to run at an optimal performance on the edge. And so that's the second element of our solution. The third one relates to how these models are trained. And for that, since training infrastructure requirements and needs are quite heavy, we've decided to use the cloud infrastructure for these training workloads and model building and development and fine-tuning. And so we built an entire ML ops platform specialized for industrial inspection. So that includes not only interfacing with cameras, collecting data that is used for training, going through a supervised annotation workflow, and then after deployment, also monitoring the inspections and sample images that are being inferenced to verify for its accuracy as well, and if required, to do retraining of things that were misjudged. So all these three elements, come together in a platform, in a workflow-driven manner, and that's what we're positioning our product, Qualitas Eagle Eye, for the industry, for visual inspection. So, by most, solutions out there are shrink wrap software. We believe we have a shrink wrap solution to offer. Inspection of biscuits that are happening, and for two reasons. One is, either to find a mismatch in the SKUs. So there are subtle differences in artwork between SKUs, and the count can also be incorrect in terms of how many biscuit packets need to be present. So let's see how we're going to solve this problem using the Eagle Eye platform. So in our web-based interface, we can go into, the model training workflow. We've collected a number of training images. And the workflow starts with, after the collection, is to do the annotation. So using bounding box verification, using bounding box annotation, we annotate the images and tag them for the right SKUs. So there could be any one of 9 SKUs that are being produced in that line. So once you go through the training and verification workflow, then the inferencing happens. And here you can see that the inferencing is happening in under 200 milliseconds using Intel's optimized models that are running on the edge. So this isn't even running a GPU. And it's doing this purely on the CPU. And the results, as I said, is communicated. So you can see here that, there is a mismatch in count, and the box, which is, selected, is then skipped because that will be subsequently rejected. So here's, what happens after the packaging. It looks for defects in boxes, in the way it has been sealed, the flaps, whether it is partially open, the print on the labels are correctly printed. So all those can also be inspected using multiple cameras. So you have, a complete system, and some of these defects that you see is shown here. So this is where, real-time inspection using the Qualitas Eagle Eye can be deployed without any sort of manual intervention, which is really a powerful way of automating a very critical task, which earlier was being done by humans, and in this case, not at all being done because at this speed, it's really difficult to inspect 100%. And so here you can see if something is defected, it'll get rejected off the line. So we have 20 plus engineers. We're a small team. We've been bootstrapped, and we've seen a good growth rate in the last formative years that we've been working on this product. And we've had a number of clients to our success. And of course, the success wouldn't be realized without the support of our partners, Intel being one of the key partners that we've been working very closely with, both on the go-to-market side, being able to leverage their marketing programs and strategies, and also on the technical side, where we've been working closely to gain help in how AI at the edge can actually be optimized to really cut costs and improve performance when you're doing these critical edge compute on these assembly lines. So we've got a few patents that are filed and granted. We've also been recognized by the CII and Accenture during the Startup Awards. And we've also been called out as one of the top 10 companies in computer vision in India by Analytics Insights as well. And so if you'd like to reach out, I'd be happy to get in touch with you. So my contact details and email is shared, and would love to hear from you. Thank you.
I'm really thankful to Qualitas that you have not a vendor to HT Process now. You have become the partner in HT Process. And basically, because of Qualitas' consistent improvements in technology and support policy, we are able to capture more than 90% of the Indian oil market. And I'm really glad to tell everybody that right now we have approximately 132 installation base all over India. With 105, your vision systems are already working across India, and another 35 more to come. So it itself, if you see, it is a record. Even my end customer IOCL says that whatever you've done in the last 4 or 5 years is marvelous, and you please continue to grow. And we were the answers to my competitors. Now it's the other way around. The competitors are following what HT Process and Qualitas are doing joint together. And I thank you very much for that and the support what you have extended to HT Process.
We now realize the full potential of machine vision and artificial intelligence. Thank you, Raghava and Team Qualitas Tech. Before we move on to our next startup, ladies and gentlemen, time now once again for the next trivia question. Here it is. What are the benefits to startups that are part of the Intel Startup Program? Let me repeat it again. What are the benefits to startups that are part of the Intel Startup Program? Is it A, business and technology mentorship? Is it B, customer, investor, and ecosystem connects? Is it C, marketing support? Is it D, access to Intel technologies? Or is it E, all of the above? Yes? It's easy? All right. So if you know the answer, just pick your option and put it in the chat box, and let's see who would be the first person to give us the correct answer. On that note, let's move on to our next startup. Now, when someone goes for a health checkup, it usually includes diagnostics such as X-rays, MRIs, and CTs. Now, the reports for these scans mostly come the next day. So I have a question. Where's the bottleneck? Why is there a delay? Now, there are a few specialists who do this work, and of course, there's also a lot of workload. Now, the next startup is leveraging technology to assist radiologists and also doctors work through the scans faster and reduce the chance of errors. To tell us more about the same, I would like to invite their mentor, Ashok Chandravarkar, who's our Director, Strategic Initiatives, who manages the Intel Startup Program, the man behind today's event, who has over 30 years of experience. Over to you, sir.
Born and brought up in Bhilai, a graduate of IIT Delhi, followed by a master's and doctorate from Georgia Tech, this startup founder specialized in industrial research. A quirk of fate got him to return to India, where he joined Fractal Analytics and worked on solutions in retail. It was in 2016 where he met his co-founder and a specialist in neurosciences. This led him to discover the art of possible in the healthcare space. It was from this moment that he decided to focus on understanding images, especially in radiology and pathology. In 2020, they raised 16 million from Sequoia Capital to drive geographical expansion, expand their product portfolio. Now present in over 50 countries, touching 4 million lives annually, used by over 500 caregivers and learning from 8 million scans. Let me introduce our next startup, Qure.Ai, and its founder and CEO, Prashant Warrior.
Hi, my name is Prashant Warrior. I'm co-founder and CEO of Qure.Ai. Today, I'm going to be talking about Qure, our products, and our partnership with Intel. Qure offers AI-powered medical image reading solutions for X-ray, CT scans, and ultrasound images. Today, we are about 100 plus people with 30 plus ML machine learning engineers. We have a very large repository of data on which our technology has been trained, more than 1 billion images in our database. And we process more than about 200 million images on an annual basis across about 500 sites in about 50 countries. Our products are US FDA cleared, CE marked, which is the European regulatory certification. And we also have regulatory clearance across about 60 other geographies. And we touch about 4 million lives on an annual basis. So this is our global footprint as of today. We are in about 50 plus countries, and we are across 500 plus sites, touching about 4 million lives on an annual basis. We are funded by Sequoia Capital and Mass Mutual Ventures, and we were incubated by Fractal at the beginning of our journey. This is a list of our global clients. We work with many hospitals from Mass General in US to Medanta, Aarti Scans, Max Healthcare in India. We also work with NHS, multiple NHS trusts in UK. We work with many teleradiology and radiology groups like Helios in Australia and Medica in UK. We work with many governments from Indian government to South Africa to UAE to Oman. And we work with pharma companies like AstraZeneca, where our partnership is geared towards the detection of early stage lung cancer on chest X-rays. I'll briefly talk about our products. We have two types of products that we build. One is an imaging portfolio, which is using AI to detect abnormalities on medical images, number one. Number two, we have products which actually make that work in the workflow of a user. So workflow products like QRemote, QTrack, which are end-to-end diagnostic platforms, which allow you to register a patient, to help them to seeing the scans, to finally diagnosing a disease in a patient. So on imaging portfolio, we have QER, which is aimed at detecting critical findings on HCD scans. QXR is detecting all kinds of abnormalities on chest X-rays. Now we are expanding that to detecting abnormalities on musculoskeletal X-rays as well. We have QCT, which is working on chest CTs, again detecting lung cancer and COPD on chest CTs. And there is a point-of-care ultrasound product that we're working on called POCUS, which will release in the next 6 months. That is aimed at helping users use an ultrasound scan better, plus also diagnosing carotid artery blockage, basically trying to figure out risk of stroke in a patient. Our workflow products are QCheck, QScout, and QTrack. QCheck is basically a solution which can help look at a radiologist's report and see if they have potentially missed anything in the scan, in the report, and correct that. QScout is an end-to-end diagnostic platform which can chat with patients, which allows you to remotely manage patients, especially patients who are suffering from TB and COVID-19, manage the contacts, and also do medication adherence. And Qure.Ai is a web and smartphone-based TB and COVID-19 workflow management tool. We found that a lot of our customers do not necessarily have EMR systems or PAC systems, especially in the TB world. So we basically built out a full sort of lightweight EMR plus PACs, which is called Qure.Ai, which a lot of our customers are using along with QXR nowadays. This is a testimonial from a customer.
Uploaded these images onto AI and the results were amazing. The initial pandemic was, we thought, just gathering, segregating patients and quarantine, having facilities for quarantine is going to help us. But then we realized that there is something new in store. The number of patients started increasing, and we realized that RT-PCR or getting the kit itself, the equipment itself was going to be difficult. So the number of tests that we were doing per day was so abysmally low that we thought of doing X-ray chest, and eventually we realized within a month that digital radiography is going to be of immense help. Digital X-ray gave us a huge advantage in the sense they were fast, they were quick, we could deploy it in a portable fashion to wherever the patient population was, and these digital X-rays were much more easier for us to download and upload onto an AI platform. Now our challenge was the results of RT-PCR were going to come only at the end of 24 hours or within a span of 12 to 24 hours. But the X-ray chest findings are going to be instantaneous. So we realized the very importance of uploading this X-ray chest, digital X-ray chest on the AI platform, and the results were amazing. This particularly helped us see something like basal consolidation, prominent bronchial markings, or ground glass appearance on the X-ray chest. These were findings which, though the patient was asymptomatic, was very much 100% useful in trying to segregate this patient into a triage area. Now, these patients who were suspect were immediately put on treatment for the simple reason that their X-ray chest showed findings of COVID-19. Their RT-PCR was by and large 70% positive, but we were not going to let these patients go away because these patients were definitely being diagnosed as either SARI, that is severe acute respiratory infections, or obviously something which is called as ILI. Now, this influenza-like illness or SARI patients were being triaged apart from the RT-PCR positive patients. And you'll be amazed to know that the RT-PCR results in these patients are almost going to be almost 80 to 85% positive. We actually went a step forward, where we deployed a portable digital X-ray within the community itself. Now we were chasing the virus. The strategy of the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai was to chase the virus. AI gave us an opportunity to identify the hotbeds. Now AI is also going to tell us whether it's going to be a predictive value, because we realized that wherever we analyze the X-ray chest on AI, we were going to identify hotbeds in other areas of the city also. Now AI was related to such an extent that the residence of the patients was also being marked. It was red flag. And so patients coming from a particular area, we were able to identify these hotbeds purely on the findings of AI. So this gave us an opportunity to penetrate areas which we were trying to neglect. So sitting at one place, we were able to identify multiple hotbeds within the city of Mumbai, faraway suburbs, apart from Worli as well as Dharavi.
About our partnership with Intel, we have the main idea of joining this partnership with Intel is to leverage the Intel's capability in the space of edge computing. So especially nowadays, there is healthcare data is something which is needs to be private and securely transferred, and edge devices are critical so that we can actually deploy and run software at the premises of the hospital and not bring it on the cloud. So as we started out as a totally cloud-based organization, but as we are going to the edge, we think Intel can help us a lot in that. And the second part is that I think Intel can also help us significantly in getting access to their wider ecosystem across the world, getting access to customers in different parts of the world. Intel is, for example, working with UPenn on federated learning and brain tumors. So something like that, we could also join that partnership and bring in our AI solutions to that market. So helping us with market access is something that we also believe that Intel can help with.
Thank you, Prashant, Rohit, Shashank, and Team Qure.Ai for empowering our healthcare professionals during the key moments of their medical journey. With this, it's now time for us to move on to our next startup. Now, have you ever tried interacting with an agent on a digital platform, say maybe your bank or an e-commerce website? Now, on the site, we actually have somebody who says you are talking to an agent. Now, here is a startup that enables conversations so real that you feel that you're actually speaking with a human and not an AI virtual assistant. To tell us more about this, I would like to invite their mentor, Manish Sharma, Senior Technical Program Manager with over 20 years of experience and now leading IP engagement for Intel IoT GBU, to say a few words about our next startup. Over to you.
Thanks. Let me introduce you to Senseforth.ai. Senseforth.ai is a premier conversational AI platform helping enterprise transform customer experience in Asia Pacific, North America, and Europe region. So with this company, I am working from past few months, and I really got impressed with their way and approach for the solution. Basically, they want to reduce cost to their customer and to their customer. And they're creating multiple touch points for conversational AI so customers can be retained, engaged, and acquired. So let me introduce to dynamic and energetic CEO of Senseforth.ai, Sridhar Mary. Sridhar, over to you.
Thank you, Manish, for that introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Sridhar, CEO and co-founder of Senseforth.ai. We are a multi-experience conversational AI platform helping large enterprises transform their customer experience across Asia Pacific, North America, and Europe. Our singular vision is to make technology human-like and accessible to everyone. If we must pinpoint one thing that has created the most profound impact on your business today, it is the digital customer behavior. The way digital customers think, research, buy, and even use your products has undergone a radical shift. These digital customers are hyper-connected and hyper-demanding. They expect you to solve their problems in real time, in a contextual and personalized manner in their preferred channel of choice. This is where Senseforth.ai steps in. We are enabling human-like conversations at scale. As agents and sales reps cannot be present on every channel and 24/7, we build intelligent virtual assistant to serve your customers better. With our patented technology, we deliver highly personalized experiences on every channel and in a language that your customers speak. Our virtual assistants don't just handle simple question and answers. They perform complex tasks such as providing product recommendations, handling objections, generating leads, upselling, cross-selling, and all of these based on a person's unique needs and buying patterns. That is why we are a trusted partner for large enterprises across the world. Let me illustrate this with just 3 stories to show you how we're unlocking business growth. Back in 2017, when we joined hands with HDFC Bank, one of the largest banks in Asia Pacific that serves over 55 million customers, they were only looking to automate customer service. Today, this virtual assistant recommends products, sends personalized offers, handles transactions, and does a lot more. Last month alone, this conversational assistant addressed over 10 million queries across 11 different channels, including Alexa, Google Assistant, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger. You would need an army of people to handle this kind of volume every month. For SBI Card, the second largest credit card issuer with over 12 million customers in India, we built ELA. This virtual assistant has turned out to become their third largest revenue contributor for SBI Card, after channels like web and mobile app. This AI virtual assistant enables the company to generate over 210,000 leads every month, resulting in thousands of dollars in revenue. Yes, you can get ambitious with conversational AI assistants. Our intelligent assistants not only keep your customers engaged, they can also increase brand loyalty. We are now working with the Government of India to deliver voice-based citizen support. This would enable hundreds of millions of people to access more than 200 different government services in 10 regional languages. I'm sure these success stories would give you a fair idea of how we are reinventing the customer experience. Now, let me sum up with 3 reasons that make Senseforth.ai a leader in the conversational AI space. The virtual assistants that we build are really smart. We are the only patented technology player in this space, delivering industry-leading accuracy of over 96%. That is why we rank number 6 on Squad 2.0, the world's most authoritative machine reading comprehension leaderboard, sharing the space with the likes of Google, Facebook, and Microsoft. Secondly, we deliver faster time to value. While other conversational AI providers take 6 to 8 months to build simple bots, we build complex ones in under 1 month. This is made possible by pre-trained and battle-tested AI models for thousands of scenarios, built-in connectors, and most importantly, a zero-code bot building platform. We are now teaming up with Intel to further improve our capabilities. By harnessing Intel tools like OpenVINO and OneAPI, we're looking to build cost-effective and highly scalable machine learning applications that deliver superior accuracy. Clearly, customer experience is now a key competitive differentiator for organizations worldwide. And if you're looking for the right partner to transform customer experience, Senseforth is the one. Thank you very much. Let us also hear from one of our customers.
Hi, I'm Vipul Bella from the marketing team at HDFC Bank. We've been working with Senseforth for about 5 years now. And one of the key challenges when we started out was how do we scale up our customer service to meet our current customer needs and improve our relevance basis customer intent. And Senseforth partnered with us all through this journey by collaborating with various teams at HDFC Bank to deliver customer satisfaction and business growth. What truly impressed us about Senseforth is their unique blend of cutting-edge technology and most importantly, their willingness to tailor it to deliver on business objectives. Senseforth.ai has exceeded all our expectations in unlocking business growth using conversational AI and elevate customer experience across various customer touchpoints.
Thank you, Sridhar and Team Senseforth.ai for harvesting the power of an intelligent conversation. Now, I'm very sure chatting with a bot would truly be an experience. Now, before we move on to our final startup, time now for me to give the answer for the trivia question that I had asked. Of course, when you have an option just like this, you know the correct answer would be option E, which is all of the above. Absolutely right. And I'm very, very happy to say that I think almost 99% of them gave us the correct answer, but the person who gave us the correct answer first was Clifford Shivkar. Woohoo! Way to go, Clifford! All right, while we're actually cheering for Clifford, let's also talk about our next startup. Now, have you ever watched the movie Ghostbusters? Now, imagine the electronics in your car misbehaving. Would it not give you the creeps or goosebumps? Imagine the indicators going off, the lights blinking, or the music system coming on as though it has a life of its own. Now, why am I talking about this? Because the next startup is your electronic ghostbuster, capable of addressing such challenges faced by automotive companies in their early design, thus preventing a recall. To tell us more about this, I would now like to invite their mentor, Lakshmi Narasimhan Ranganathan, who's our manager, TA, and chief of staff to the VP of PSG Intel India, with over 20 years of experience, who has helped many startups to port their solutions on Intel. He's also our go-to man for Intel software-related support for startups. I would request him to now say a few words about our next startup. Over to you, sir.
A very good afternoon to one and all who is attending the Intel Startup Program's Startup Showcase. I'm going to introduce you to SimYog, a startup that Intel has been working for the last 2+ years. SimYog is a startup with a mission of enabling agile processes for hardware development. This team of passionate engineers is led by Dipanjan, who is the CEO, who is also a professor, passionate in multiple areas, including computer-aided analysis and design, computational electromagnetics, parallel programming, cloud computing, and many more. We work with Dipanjan and his team to optimize their applications on Intel architecture. Without taking much time, I now hand it over to Dipanjan.
Thank you, Ellen, for the introduction. Greetings, everybody, from SimYog Technology. My name is Dipanjan Gop, and I'm CEO of SimYog. So we started around 2017, and we are based out of Bangalore. It's a spin-off from Indian Institute of Science. Bosch and IdeaSpring are investors, and we work very closely with the Intel Startup Program. Our mission is to enable agile for hardware. So, for example, for integrated circuits or semiconductor design and tape out, there are a lot of simulation tools that are available to judge the functionality of the semiconductor. Such is not the case for hardware. When I say hardware, I mean electronic systems, right? Which is taking the ICs and putting it in a system like a printed circuit board with housing and connector. There is still a lot of work that's done after a prototype has been developed. EMC is an example of such work, right? So EMC, the full form is electromagnetic compatibility. And it has become and is becoming a very big pain point for the systems companies, for example, automotive, right? What happens is that, if you make one of these ECUs and it may actually work very well as a standalone ECU, but when you bring it into the car environment, it starts malfunctioning because of the noise, the ambient electronic or electromagnetic noise in the system that could be radiated or conducted. So the way it is taken care of today in the industry is that the OEM would tell the tier one supplier that, you make your equipment, or let's say, for example, a pressure sensor, but before you can sell it to me, you have to go through this compliance laboratory where these equipment will be subjected to some artificial noise, and you have to pass that according to the standards. And that is causing a verification level problem for the hardware provider. As much as 50% of this hardware is failing the first time around, costing around 6 to 12 months in delay in time to market. So that is a big problem. And the way we solve it, you can imagine that the problem here is that, in order to go to the laboratory, you need an actual prototype, right? And whatever is the design cycle time of your product, it could be between, let's say, anywhere between 8 months to 4 years. The prototype is only available towards the end of the design cycle. And only after you have a prototype can you actually take it to a laboratory, like a physical laboratory. So it can be only done towards the end of the design cycle. Any failure at that time would result in the delay in time to market. So our solution is our flagship product, Compliance Scope, which is an EMC simulation tool. It's an enterprise software today, which the designer can actually download and use the design files that they have and can get laboratory-like results, right? So it is sort of, the idea is to get the idea, to get a measure of how it is going to behave in the laboratory at a very early stage in the design cycle, so that if there are any changes required, you have ample time to solve that. Our motto is first time pass in compliance. So this is sort of summarizes our mission. A virtual EMI/EMC laboratory which behaves like the actual laboratory. Then we are also building features for diagnosis, which means that if there is a problem at a particular frequency point, we provide some ability of diagnosis, like looking at which are the problem areas in the design that could cause that. And this all of this sort of contributes to this design for EMC, like analysis-driven design of taking care of EMC at the early stage. How does the tool do that? It's a combination of two approaches. One is the physical science-based approach, which is basically a combination of computational electromagnetics and circuits, and where we mesh a structure and solve Maxwell's equations on it. And then on the other side, we have the data science part, which is generating models. Like many parts of this laboratory actually repeat, like the antenna, the LISN, and so on. So we have made models, in particular the IC models, right? So sometimes the device level information of the ICs are not available from the vendors. So we make behavioral models and make it available in the tool. The challenging parts in this technical process is the time and memory efficiency of the matrix solution of the computational EM part, right? And that's where we work very closely with the Intel Startup Program, from a technical perspective, understanding how best to use hardware or high performance computing. In fact, we have published some work that gives us around 2x speed up, and that 2x speed up directly translates into a 2x saving in terms of time. Imagine you would get some results in 24 hours. Now you can get it in 12 hours. And there's more to come. We are following the hardware roadmap very closely and working with the Intel Startup Program to make sure that we can intercept the advances in hardware in our simulation paradigm. So once the simulation is complete, you can actually predict the current density on the structure, and from there, the radiated emissions profile and other post-process quantities. How good is the product? Well, one measure of it is, how well it correlates with measurement. And you can see on the top, this is a touch screen, touch panel that has been subjected to radiated emissions test. And you can see the simulation matches really well with the measurement results. So is the case in this conducted emission example at the bottom, where you have taken a DC-DC converter into a conducted emissions laboratory. And this is the correlation between measurement and simulation. So our customers worldwide include Texas Instruments from Dallas, Cyprus. Our contact is in the Bangalore group, but we work with Germany and Ukraine, Microchip Phoenix, Bosch Bangalore, Panasonic, Fujitsu, Denso from Japan, and some of the other companies here in the local ecosystem. Also OEM companies like Mercedes-Benz. With that, I would like to finish my presentation. We would love to meet you at the virtual booth at the Intel program. Would want to hand it over to our investor to share a few words on his perspective on SimYog.
See, SimYog is a great example of academia, industry, and investors coming together and join hands with a startup which is building a very disruptive solution. They do it by creating a new category of simulation tools to identify EMI/EMC issues from design. This eliminates the need for building a prototype at the early stage of development cycle. By doing this, they not only save electronic industry a lot of time and money, but also help in bringing products to market early.
Thank you, Dipanjan and Team SimYog, for being our Ghostbusters and for showcasing augmenting physical science with data science will reduce time to market from concept to deployment. Okay, Moving on to our next startup, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in the past, we've had security guards manning facilities, but now we actually have CCTV cameras. But it is still not enough. If you need to know that your perimeter is being breached or there are non-compliant activities happening, here is a startup that will give you real-time insights. I'm sure you're excited as me to know a little bit more. So let's quickly welcome our next mentor, Yudhvir Singh Rana, business leader, IoT, Edge, AI and Vision, Intel India, to introduce them. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Atul and Staqu team, for deep collaboration to be a geek together, building niche AI solutions in video safety and security and enterprise big data analytics. I have known Staqu for 4 or 5 years and amazed by the passion solving problems with various state police forces, bringing artificial intelligence in e-governance and increasing overall efficiency and productivity. The team has deep expertise in deep learning research and eagerness to create AI-enabled society. With that, I hand over to Atul to talk more about Staqu Technologies.
Thank you for the introduction. My name is Atul Rai. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Staqu Technologies. We are an AI startup working in security and safety domain, where we're using CCTV cameras to perform different audio video analytics on existing cameras. So our background is, of course, we started in 2015 as an AI company, and there we started our journey with the government organizations to solve many problem statements which are there in terms of the crowd monitoring, intrusion detection, violence detection on existing cameras. Later, we also expanded ourselves in the manufacturing in the retail sector. In manufacturing, we are solving the problem statement which are related to safety and different operational protocols. For example, safety gear detection, helmet detection, again, fire detection and all. In the retail side, we are solving the problem statement of footfall analysis, planogram analysis, demography analysis and all. And of course, many such analytics are there. If you talk about ourselves, we are live on 10,000 plus cameras. And when we say we are an AI company, we have done 25 plus research papers in this area, and we are currently live with 50 plus organizations. And coming to the problem statement, if you talk about cameras, we all have camera, right? Whether as a manufacturing unit, whether it's a retail, or whether it's infrastructure, or whether it's smart city, we all have camera. The problem with the camera is we need a human basically interference to monitor anything. And that is something which is impossible, because you cannot put human behind every camera. And that is something which is where the Jarvis is playing its role. It is automatizing the whole monitoring part, whether it's related to the security, whether it's related to safety, or whether it's related to the logistic part, or many other such analytics which are important, right? So going directly to the product side, if you talk about cameras, so whether it's any kind of a camera which you have, whether it's an IP camera, analog camera, body cam camera, all can be connected to our AI, which is relying on any on-prem servers or cloud. And there we have Jarvis, our product. So that product can, of course, when I say Jarvis, can also be integrated on your own cloud. That means data privacy is always there. And there we are performing all the analytics related to the requirement which you have. And you get real-time alert and real-time streaming as well. That means we're also giving you a real-time VMS solution, which you call video management software part. At the same time, you're also getting audio video analytics. That means it's a combination of both of them. And so far, we have more than 85 plus analytics on the platform. So you can choose any of them and you can start with that, right? And just for the basically introduction, I'm putting a video demo over here. Here is a video demo, which will give you more clarity about the product. talk about the product overall, there are three different components. One is a video wall software, where you can see all the basically live streaming coming from different cameras. At the same time, you also get the analytics on the top of it. So that means at one side, you are connecting all your different locations at one side without going to the location and all. And at the same time, you're getting different analytics on the top of it. Second part, you don't need a fancy command center. Of course, this is a command center software you can put in on the biggest screen and see in the live streaming. You can create that command center in your own desktop, right? And you can see live streaming of it and also the analytics. And the third part, you also have a mobile app. So again, you don't need any other solution. You can basically do through the mobile app also. I mean, while you are, let's say, moving, you're on a travel or something, you can also see the same things on your mobile app as well. So it's giving you a flexibility from working from anywhere, right? Now, the third part and a very important component of this whole solution is what are the different edge features or USP features we have here, right? So we have 99.7% accuracy. The second important feature which we are camera agnostic. So whether you have whatever the kind of camera I said, whether you have any brand of a camera, Hikvision, CP+, anything, right? That can also be connected. Second, any kind of a hardware which is basically streaming the camera, whether it's a analog camera or IP camera, that can also be connected. The third part is you don't need to put much time to start the solution. It's a plug and play solution. So let's say if you have camera, you want to start Jarvis today, you can start it today only. Part of this whole thing is you can access from anywhere. I shown you. You don't need to go to the command center to access the different use cases which you are targeting. Maybe it's a retail. Again, our solution is resolution independent. That means you can connect any kind of a camera resolution to the Jarvis. And one more thing, it is one-stop solution. Now we talk about the customers and the client we have. So if you talk about ourselves, we are working in the public sector at one side where we have all the North Indian State Police Forces working with us. There we have from UP Police to Bihar to different other states using our technology to solve some of the real world problems which are related to crowd management or violence detection on existing cameras. On the other side, when you're working with the enterprise side, we have companies like TFS, companies like JMR, Starbucks, JK Cement who are using for their different use cases. On the third part, we have channel partners. Channel partners are very important for any company's growth. So we have intel.startup.program with us, which is helping us to basically going into the market part where we are basically leveraging all the customers which Intel already have. So we are partnering with them. They are helping us to reach those enterprise customers and helping us to integrate our solution with them. We also have different other cloud partners like AWS, Microsoft, Google, and similar companies helping us with their program. You can hear it from our one of our customer.
The mask, attendance, and overcrowding setup. We have close to 10 to 11 behaviors already captured, and we are looking forward to 25 more. And with the help of Jarvis team, in fact, we are actually, it's triggering a food for thought. Can we do this also? Can we do that also? And then answer till now, fortunately, has been yes always. Jarvis has definitely helped us, and I have all the intentions wherever it can be used and in whatever way it can be used. I'll not even think twice. And Neeraj is actually making our life a little more tougher by actually triggering those thoughts. And he never says no to it. We say, can this be done? He says, yes, it can be. And the evidence is proof of pudding is in the eating. He's at one of our sites and he himself is guiding those thoughts. So you can also imagine that, see, one thing is the solution. Second thing is the coding. Third thing is the platform, which is Microsoft. Fourth most important thing for me is how best you are supported by the team who has actually sold it to you. Neeraj is not from the hardware or a solution side, if I'm not wrong. Neeraj is essentially into business development, sales, market, and all those things. And he is sitting at my side, making sure that everything works. That should be more than enough of a proof for somebody to have a confidence that, yes, this thing works and these people make sure that it works.
Thank you, Atul and Team Staqu for bringing the much needed reformation in the paradigms of security and, of course, utilizing AI for digital and centralized records to custom video analytics for our security and safety. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say now that was an exhilarating ride through all of our startup presentations. Now, big thank you to the founders of these amazing startups and their mentors for these in-depth insights into the problems and, of course, the opportunities that they were addressing. We wish each and every one of you all the very best in the long and rewarding journey to success. And now, for the vote of thanks, I would like to hand over the stage to Ashok Chandavarkar, who's our Director, Strategic Initiatives, Intel India. Over to you, Ashok.
Thank you, Pallavi. Wow. Do you feel as excited listening to the journey of these founders and the disruptions they are bringing? I do wish we had the erstwhile physical events so that I could have done some fist bumps with the founders. It fills me with immense pride and hope. I'm sure we are on the cusp of seeing a deep tech Indian unicorn. If you're keen to interact with these rock stars, you can visit them today or tomorrow at the exhibition area and schedule meetings. To all the deep tech startups in the audience, if you are as innovative and mature like the ones you saw today across different technology domains, from cloud to the edge, feel free to reach out to my amazing team at the Intel Startup Program. To interact and know more about our program, or if you wish to collaborate with us, you can schedule meetings with our team who are available to engage with you in the exhibition hall. On behalf of the Intel Startup Program, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the heroes of the day, the 8 startups and their team members, their mentors, our collaborators, as well as the organizing team for putting together the first ever startup showcase. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the audience for being part of this wonderful event and wish you a very warm season's greetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok, for perfectly summarizing the event. And as he says, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And now I'm very sure that each one of you wants to have some in-depth conversation with all of our founders and know more about their companies. And just like Ashok said, we have made that possible on the same platform. It's pretty simple. Once you go back to the lobby or to the homepage, click on the Schedule Now button at the bottom center screen. You will have 8 startup logos come up, and we also have the logo of our Intel Startup Program. Select the time that's convenient for you and schedule meetings. Let me also remind you that we will be live from today until tomorrow evening. Now, like they say, goodbyes are not forever. Goodbyes are not the end. It's just a simple promise to keep between us until we meet again. I had a great time being your virtual host this evening. And I always say to remember, each one of you, keep your frown upside down. Keep smiling. Season greetings to all of you. Thank you so much for being such a great audience. I'm RJ Pallavi, and I shall see you all very, very soon. Until then, have a great evening and namaste.